Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Hello, dear students. Today, inshallah, I'll be with you to explain to you how to deal with the questions of the story in the exam. We have three types of questions: the comment, the characters, and the themes. As for first prep, you will learn how to deal with the story or the drama of King Lear and any other story in prep or secondary stages. As we said, we have three types of questions. The first question, you know it well, is the comment. You are given a quotation, a sentence that a character said in the story, and you will say who said this sentence, to whom was it said, the place, and the situations. The second type of questions is the characters. For example, we have three characters in the story of King Lear. King Lear, the Earl of Kent, Cordelia, and other characters, of course. What is a character? The character can be any person in the story. Like, as we said, King Lear, the Earl of Kent, and Cordelia. You should know some traits about the characters and prove these traits. I mean by trait adjectives, خصال, صفات. So you should know these traits and support your answer or support your point of view by two or more situations. For example, King Lear. We know that King Lear is a foolish man, and also he is unwise, and he is blind. He is blind although he has two eyes, but he was blind for reality. To prove this, you should read the questions well and write any situation that prove your point of view. For example, you can say that King Lear was a foolish old man because he decided to give his country to his daughters while he was still alive. And he only kept for himself the king title or the title of king and 100 knights to serve him. That's all. He also didn't keep a house for himself and decided to live in his daughters' palaces, spending a month in each one in turn. To prove that he was unwise, we should remember that he asked each of his three daughters to tell him how much they loved him, so that he could give each daughter a part of his kingdom according to how much they would say they loved him, not the reality of their love. He was also blind, and we said that although he has two eyes, he was blind, but blind about reality. He couldn't recognize truth from flattery. He was happy with Goneril and Regan's speech, although they were liars, and gave each one of them a half of the kingdom. On the other hand, he was angry with Cordelia and didn't give her anything, although she was telling the truth. When the Earl of Kent talked on behalf of Cordelia, the king threatened to kill him. He was like the madman who killed his own doctor. The king gave the Kent 5 days to leave the country, and he would be killed on the sixth day if he was seen there. Now, we have mentioned three traits or three adjectives about King Lear. And for each trait, we have mentioned two or more situations. But in the exam, you will write 2 points, at least 2 points. Yeah, you can write that he's foolish and unwise only, foolish or blind only, blind and unwise only. And for each trait of these, you will write two situations. Okay? You do not have to write all these. The second character is Cordelia. The second character you will be asked about in the exam, you may be asked about in the exam, is Cordelia. Cordelia is honest and kind and forgiving. From the story, we can prove that by mentioning these situations. She was honest and innocent because when the king asked Cordelia how much she loved him, she didn't talk about her father's love that day. Because if she talked about her love to her father that day, it would be for his land. So she preferred to love the king and keep silent. She told him that she loved him as a duty because he was her father who brought her up. Her husband would share him that love if she married. She was kind because when the Earl of Kent told Cordelia what her sisters had done with her father, she begged her husband, the King of France, to let her go to England with an army to restore her father's kingdom, and he agreed. She was also forgiving. At the end of the story, when the king asked her to forgive him, she told him that he shouldn't ask for her forgiveness because she was doing her duty as a daughter. The third character you may be asked about is the Earl of Kent. The Earl of Kent is loyal and courageous, brave, and faithful. He was loyal because Kent had always been loyal to Lear, whom he had honored as a king, loved as a father, and followed as a master. Kent, dressed as Caius, found a way to show his loyalty to the king. When one of Goneril's servants was rude to Lear, Caius pushed the servant on the floor. Kent was courageous and an honest advisor. He was the only one who had the courage to speak with the king about Cordelia. He tried to explain to him that he wasn't making a wise decision. When the king threatened to kill him if he didn't stop talking on behalf of Cordelia, he told him that he was always ready to lose his life to protect the king, and was trying that day to protect the king from his foolishness. He was faithful. When the king gave him 5 days to leave the country, he chose to stay in Britain, even though he knew that he would be killed if he was discovered. He was determined to help the king. He dressed as a servant and went to the king to ask if he could work for him. Kent called himself Caius to disguise. When the king was alone, Kent didn't leave him. He took the king to the castle at Dover. He then went to France and to Cordelia. He told her about what had happened to the king. From these situations, you do not have to write them all. You have only to write at least 2 points, 2 points from these. Okay? The third types of questions, this is the third type. The third type is the themes. The themes, what is a theme? The theme of a story or a novel or a play is the main idea, the lesson, the moral, the message explored throughout in the story. For our play King Lear, we have three main themes. The first one is blindness. The second one is the theme of appearance versus reality. The third theme is justice. Of course, when we talk about blindness, we'll talk about King Lear. As we said, he's a blind man, not blind by the mean that he doesn't have eyes or he can't use his eyes. He lost his eyesight, but blindness from reality. Lear was blind and foolish in the division of his kingdom. He divided his kingdom according to the love of his daughters, according to the speech of love. He was easily deceived by their words. This is the first situation. The second one, he deprived the honest daughter Cordelia. When Kent advised him not to treat Cordelia badly, the king was like the madman who killed his own doctor. He gave Kent 5 days to leave the country, or he would be killed on the sixth day if he was seen there. The third situation, the Earl of Kent tried to defend Cordelia. He tried to explain to Lear that he was not making a wise decision by punishing his true daughter. But Lear was too angry to listen. He threatened to kill Kent if he didn't stop talking on behalf of Cordelia. But Kent told him that he was always ready to lose his life to protect him. And the king gave the Kent 5 days to leave the country, and he would be killed on the sixth day if he was seen there. You will write at least 3 situations to prove that King Lear was blind from reality. The second theme is justice. Justice was achieved at the end of the story, and most characters got what they deserved. For example, King Lear, when he was left outside in the storm, and Edmund, the Earl of Gloucester, he was killed in a fight with his brother. But to answer the question of the theme of justice in the exam, you have to write about Regan, okay, or Cordelia. Regan, you write about Regan only, not Cordelia. You write about Regan. Regan fell in love with Edmund, and Goneril fell in love with Edmund. When Regan's husband died, she wanted to marry Edmund, but Goneril killed her sister by poisoning her because of jealousy. Because of this murder, and because he knew about her love for Edmund, Goneril's husband put her in prison, and she killed herself because she was disappointed and angry. This is justice, عدالة. This is what happened to Regan because of what she had done. Okay, and we will know about what Regan had done when we talk about the theme of appearance versus reality. Appearance, what appeared, and the promises, and the speech of love, and reality, what is the truth, what is clear about the characters. In this theme, you will write about Goneril, Regan, or Cordelia. For Goneril, the appearance of Goneril was very good. When the king asked Goneril how much she loved him, she declared that she loved her father more than words could give out, and he was dearer to her than the light of her own eyes, and he was dearer than life and liberty. This is the appearance of Goneril. But what about her reality? She began to dislike the few small things that the king had kept to show that he was still the king. She didn't like to see him or his 100 knights. Whenever she met him, she was unfriendly towards him. When he wanted to speak to her, she pretended to be ill. She never showed any respect for the king. This is the reality of Gunnar. What about Regan? Regan's appearance was not worse than, or was not better than Goneril's appearance. When the king asked Regan how much she loved him, she declared that what her sister had said came short of the love which she would tell him. And all other joys are dead in comparison with the pleasure which she took in the love of her dear king and father. But what about her reality? She put chaos her father's messenger in the stocks, as he beat Goneril's servant. And her servants kept the king's men out and refused to let them in. When Lear wanted to speak with Regan, she excused for being tired for a long travel. She took Goneril by the hand when she came to warn her against her father. All these were situations to prove that the reality of Regan was different from her appearance. The third character is Cordelia. In fact, Cordelia's appearance was not different from her reality. When the king asked Cordelia how much she loved him, she didn't talk about her father's love that day. So she preferred to love the king and keep silent. She told him that she loved him as a duty because he was her father who brought her up. Her husband would share her that love if she married. When the Earl of Kent told Cordelia what her sisters had done with her father at the end of the story, she begged her husband, the King of France, to let her go to England with an army to restore her father's kingdom. And he agreed. And also at the end of the story, when the king asked her to forgive him, she told him that he shouldn't ask for her forgiveness because she was doing her duty. So her appearance was not different from her reality. Okay. In this theme, you do not have to write about the three characters. You will write about only one of these characters, mentioning two situations only. Okay. Thank you for watching. I hope you have benefited from this video. نسألكم الدعاء. Good luck. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.